let me introduce myself. I'm David Bookspan, one of the founders of DreamIt Ventures. And can we get another round of applause for the companies? These guys have worked their butts off for the last 4 months, and I think the results speak well to it. Thank you. Great, thanks. Also, Elliot and Jason, fantastic job on the first DreamIt Baltimore group of companies, the first cohort. And this would not have happened without the vision of Johns Hopkins, Northrop Grumman, Kaiser Permanente, and BioHealth Innovations. So thank you as well. For a startup community to be successful, there are 4 components that you need. You need capital, you need customers, you need talent, and you need community. It was a lot of fun hearing the banter back and forth between Philadelphia and Baltimore. But if you guys truly want to be the epicenter of health innovation, it's going to require capital, because God knows you've got talent, unbelievable talent. You guys have incredible customers, as you've seen by some of the pilots that were announced here today. And you guys have an unbelievable community, both of domain experts and of great places where people want to hang, right? Fells Point, where the DreamIt offices were, is an unbelievable location. So really, congratulations to Baltimore for a fantastic environment in which startups can thrive. But capital is key. And let's hear how Jeff Bezos describes it.
The riskiest moment for Amazon, Charlie, was at the very, very beginning. I needed to raise $1 million at a certain point. And I ended up giving away 20% of the company for $1 million.
A hell of a deal for somebody.
A lot of people did very well on that deal. But they also took a risk, so they deserved to do very well on that deal. But I had to take 60 meetings to raise $1 million, and I raised it from 22 people at approximately $50,000 a person. And it was nip and tuck whether I was going to be able to raise that money. So the whole thing could have ended before it even started.
The whole thing could have ended before it even started. Unfortunately, Mr. Bezos did not come to see me, and I would have hoped that I would have been one of the 22 and not the 38. You guys have that opportunity today. And I realize that I'm the only thing that's standing between you and your checkbooks and the companies. So I'm going to try and be somewhat brief. But capital, the importance of capital cannot be overstated. And this isn't just a community effort on capital, it's also where the biggest returns are. The biggest returns are on the first money into a company. So to help demonstrate that point, I'd like to call up Ken Carpay and John Kamak. So these are 2 of the most well-known investors in the Baltimore community. And just so you can get to know them a little bit better, John, what's your favorite flower?
The rose for my wife.
The rose, okay. And Ken, what type of dogs do you like?
What type of dogs? Poodles.
There we go. Okay, so now you guys know something very intimate about our 2 contestants. But if I could ask you guys, and unfortunately we're not set up great to do this, what I'm going to ask you is to identify a company. I'm going to show you who the first investor in that company was, and I want you to identify the company. So John, let's start with you. In 1977, Mike Markula invested $250,000 for 1/3 of which company? Yes, you may. And you can shout out from the audience, too, if anybody knows. Apple. Correct. Apple. And today, the market cap of Apple is? Close, $478 billion. Oh, okay. Well, thanks, John. Okay, Ken. Oh, and I'm sorry. You have to remember also, in looking at all of this, when we were talking about Amazon before, what he was looking for $1 million for, Jeff Bezos, wasn't the Amazon of today, right? It was an online bookstore, right? Online bookstore. Apple in 1977 was a hobbyist product. It was just for technical geeks, okay? So, when you're looking at companies and you're looking at these investments, look at the people and look at the vision. It certainly helps if there's a great first product. Okay, 25-point toss-up question. 1998, Andy Bechtolsheim invested $100,000 in nobody? Anybody here of Google? Okay, do you know what that investment was worth? 2010 was the last time I could find what that $100,000 is worth today. $1.7 billion. Okay? You certainly may.
So I met a guy a couple of years ago at an angel conference, and here's his story. Stanford. He rode a bike to work and around campus, and he, through work, raised $15,000 to buy a car. And the night before he was going to buy the car, he went out and had some beers with Mr. Page, who was getting his PhD in computer science at Google, and gave him the $15,000 after 5 beers. Instead of buying the car, today he is a billionaire.
Awesome story. And this is what Larry and Sergey looked like back then. And they kind of were twins separated at birth, maybe, but we have real brothers here today in our company. Okay, 2004, Peter Thiel invested $500,000 and got 10.2% of Facebook. Peter Thiel founded PayPal, but he invested in Facebook. Market cap today, John? 153 billion. So not bad returns on these early stage investments. And this isn't just angel investors, right? This is VCs it applies to as well. By the way, this is what Mr. Thiel invested in. 2010, not too long ago. Anybody know Rob Hayes from First Round Capital? Okay, Rob sourced a deal, and First Round invested $500,000 for 10% of? Exactly, Uber. Last financing of Uber was last fall. Anybody know what the valuation at that financing was? $3.4 billion. Okay, so the point here is that the early money in is the greatest return potential that you could possibly have. Yes, it's risky, but it is also an incredible opportunity. So I'd like to thank Ken and John. Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot. Here's the Uber team. So I'd like to thank Ken and John. Ken?
We're here with the Baltimore Angels, so if anyone is interested in early stage investment and investing in the community with a group of very committed entrepreneurs and great people, please look us up on the web and come to one of our meetings. And we already have identified quite a few of the presenters today who will be invited in.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so it's not just the companies that we talked about, but many of these names, or some of these names, might be familiar to you. These are all DreamIt alumni companies. These are companies that are doing exceedingly well, have either had financings at very high valuations, or have tremendous traction in the market and with customers. So there is a tremendous portfolio here, and if you don't find a company, a specific company here that you want to invest in, and you want to invest in all of them, come talk to one of the DreamIt partners here. There are 10 DreamIt partners, and we are totally committed to Baltimore. In fact, 8 of those 10 partners have been here as part of DreamIt Health Baltimore. And let me just ask the DreamIt partners to stand so they're available to questions and to talk with you guys if you want. Mike? Okay, it's that good-looking group, so please come see us. So in building out the Baltimore startup community, there, as we talked about earlier, is this tremendous opportunity. The opportunity, however, is bounded by capital, which we've talked about. Hopefully you guys will help fix that. But the community also is bonded by creativity. And just being in Baltimore several times over the last few months and having the privilege of getting to know a lot of the startup community here and seeing the support, the corporate support, the institutional support, the individual support, and meeting the entrepreneurs here, it is reminiscent to me of something that Richie Havens said was what Greenwich Village was like in the 60s. Richie Havens tells this story, or told this story, unfortunately he passed last year. He told this story while introducing a song. And he said that Greenwich Village in the 60s was, you'd walk into a coffee shop, you'd hear somebody play a song, and you'd say, hey, I really like that song, do you mind if I play it? The artist says, sure, and writes down the song for him. A couple weeks later, you'll be playing in a coffee shop, and somebody will come up to you and say, I really like that song. Do you mind if I play that song? And he says, no. So writes it down and gives it to him. And he told this story while he was introducing a song called All Along the Watchtower. And he says, I got this from a guy named Dylan, and I gave it to a guy named Hendrix. So it's that kind of community that you guys have the opportunity to continue to build here. The DreamIt Health Philly companies were incredibly successful. We had 10 companies in DreamIt Health Philly. 8 of them are still in Philly. And the reason that 8 of them are still in Philly is because of capital. Hopefully, we have demonstrated the ability to attract to Baltimore top flight entrepreneurs from all over the world. But it's your job to keep them here, guys. Thanks.